See, I'm Johnny. I'm going to be your physical therapist today. We're going to be doing a couple of tests today. Okay, so the first test we're going to be doing is called the Fulcrum test, and it's the test assessed for fractures in your right thigh. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my arm underneath your right thigh here and my hand on your opposite area above your knee. I'm going to press down. I want you to tell me if you feel any pain. Okay?
To survive all of this for so many
You
years?
pain with that?
No.
Okay, so that's a negative for fracture. I'm going to go repeat the test, moving my arm a little bit more proximal. Okay, so move my arm a little bit. Do it again. Are you pain with that? No. Okay, so that's a negative. And the specificity, according to Johnson et al., for the Fulcrum test is 75. The sensitivity is 93. The positive likelihood ratio is 3.79, and the negative likelihood ratio is 0.09. The specificity, according to Kang et al., is 13. Sensitivity is 88. Positive likelihood ratio is 1.0, and negative likelihood ratio is 0.92. Okay, Nancy. The next test we're going to be doing is called the Patellar-Pubic percussion test, and for this one, I'm going to have you lie on your back. Okay, and this is also to assess for a fracture in your left thigh area. Okay, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be feeling in your groin area, and I'm going to put the bell of this stethoscope just in that area, and I'm going to be tapping on your knee to listen for signs of fracture. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be placing the bell lateral to her pubic symphysis. Okay, and I'm going to be tapping on the knee. And I definitely hear a distinct, sharp sound, which means it's a negative for fracture. If it was positive and there was a fracture, I would hear a dissipated or dull sound, and that would indicate fracture, especially a transverse fracture. And the specificity for that, the average is going to be 86, and it's anywhere from 78 to 92 with a positive likelihood ratio of 6.1. Sensitivity, the average is going to be 95, anywhere between 92 and 97, and the negative likelihood ratio is going to be 0.07. Okay, Nancy, the last test we're going to be doing today is called the Craig's test, and for this one I'm going to have you lie on your stomach. Okay, and this test is to assess for anteversion or retroversion of Nancy's right hip. Okay, so for this test I'm going to bend your knee to about 90. Okay, I'm going to take my fingertips and feel for Nancy's greater trochanter. I'm going to move her leg into external rotation and internal rotation, and there it goes. Okay, so I'm going to start out in slight internal rotation, and I'm going to go slowly into external rotation, and I'm going to be feeling for the point where Nancy's greater trochanter is at its most lateral or superficial, and that's going to be right there. Okay, so at this point, she's in a slight anteversion position. Okay, and that might affect your gait a little bit. And according to Newman, 8 to 15 degrees of anteversion is normal. Okay, and there is no likelihood ratio, positive likelihood ratio, negative likelihood ratio, specificity, or sensitivity data for this test. Thank you.
Thank you.